The woman that a lot of my stories
Can you hear him? Wait, new mic.
a lot of my stories end up having to be started with something to do with a woman. In this particular case, the woman that I was dating, Britt Ekman, was living in London, and we had just had a baby boy. And so I was going up and back visiting the two of them, and in between the time I was supposed to go, I got a call from her, and she said, "I think you ought to come early because there's a show here called the Rocky Horror Show that is just exploding, and I think that there's a possibility that you can get involved in it." So I booked a flight, and I have to admit that the first 15 minutes I was in jet lag, but when Tim came on, I woke up completely. And from that moment on, I wanted to be involved and bring it to the States as a play. And that night, I went to a party and met Michael White, the original producer of the Rocky Horror Show, and struck a deal that night to bring it to the Roxy in Los Angeles.
And then it went on to play in New York, and then a movie was made, and everybody discounted the movie. They didn't want to release it.
Well, what happened is, it was 20th Century Fox, and we previewed the movie in Santa Barbara. And and normally what they do is you preview a new film with a similar film in order to get the right audience to see it. Except there was never anything like Rocky Horror at that time. So I think we were with Golden Pond or something. But anyway, about halfway through the film, we had lost half the audience. And by the end of the film, I think there might have been 20, 25 people left in the audience. And we were sitting on the curb, myself and somebody from Fox, and just thought, well, that's it. And then these 25 people came up and one by one said, "This is the best thing that I've seen. Where is it going to be?" And we knew that we had something at that point. It was just how to get it exposed, because it was very difficult. We found out it was very difficult to get play dates for Rocky Horror.
And so, with the help of Tim Deegan from 20th Century Fox,
Who was sitting on the curb.
who was the guy sitting on the curb, he struck a deal with the Waverly Theater in New York to show it at midnight to replace Night of the Living Dead that had played there for a few years.
Well, we got two play dates. We got one in Austin, and we got one in New York. And Tim Deegan would monitor the New York showings, and I took Austin. And what I would do is every Monday I would call the manager of the Austin Theater and ask how we were doing. And the first couple of weeks he said we had 25, we had 35. Then the third week we had 40, and the fourth week we had 40. So I'm trying to get an idea of how to market the film. And I said, well, who are these people? You know, what's the makeup of the audience? He says, it's the same 40 people.
And cut to a year later, me and all my friends are online at 8 o'clock for a midnight movie, and we just never stopped going. And here we are 35 years later. What would be some of your fondest memories of the things that have happened in the last 35 years?
Meeting you, Sal. Absolutely.
Nice
I
answer.
That's right. Because I heard what Sal said about my being responsible for a lot of the third. But Sal is very much responsible for this film continuing, and we're here 35 years later.
So here I was starting this fan club in New York, and and we called Lou Adler's office, and I was told, oh, you're the fifth Sal Piro who called here this week. So it took a while, but we all connected, and we've had a great relationship promoting Rocky, and the anniversaries have been terrific. And here we are 35 years later, and I always say whenever there's a new format to release Rocky on, either audio or video, there's always a reason. It's good for Rocky because it exposes so many more people. And this year, with this convention, with the Rocky thing on Glee, with the benefit that I told everybody about last night, and the Halloween festival parade in LA on Halloween night, Rocky is getting major exposure this year, so we're not going anywhere. Lou, you want to tell us about?
Yeah, I just want to, if we are going anywhere, we tried to see the benefit performance